Okay, sounds good. Well, first and foremost, the biggest dream of my life came true 4.5 years ago. That has to definitely be my number one highlight of my career. Is I have my daughter was 5 when I started the business. Some of you may know her, Krista Hottie. I always thought it'd be cool if one day we could work this business together. Well, that happened 4.5 years ago because I built my business for 29 years in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then 4.5 years ago, she became a director. So when that happened, I was out here in a lickety split. Like seriously, we moved out here. I didn't know anybody but her. So that for sure has been my biggest highlight. I would say my next highlight would be when we just earned our first top director's trip to get to go to Scotland. That was something that I've always wanted. And even though I've been in the business 32 years, that gives you hope, right? It doesn't matter how long I was in the business before I earned it, but I know that it just inspires and gives other people hope that if you just don't ever quit and keep going, that it's amazing how God is always so good. So
I
those would
love
be my
that.
top two.
Those are so fun. So Tandra, I don't know if you know, Tammy lives in Arizona. So she moved from Lincoln, Nebraska to Arizona and started her business over there. And so that will be fun because I know today in training, I'm sure she'll share how she gets leads and how she didn't know anybody except her daughter, and her daughter was already a director. So she had to build a whole new customer base and build her unit there and everything. So she's going to share all kinds of goodies. So you will love that. So before we get started, does anybody have a question that you are just hoping that Tammy answers today?
No.
No? Okay. If you do as we go on, put it in the chat, or I'm sure she'll break and let you know. So Tammy, I'm just going to turn over to you, but this is what I want to share before I spotlight her. This is what I love about Tammy Niehaus. There's so many things, but we roomed together at Fall Advanced like a year ago, and she is the kindest, most fun, nicest person you could ever know. But I already knew that because whenever you go to something, she comes up and she loves on you and she hugs on you. And for every single person, she just looks right at you and has all kinds of just kind, genuine words to say. Her husband is so nice and so fun. He and Brian hit it off right away. And so you're just the perfect match. And I love how much you love your kids. One of the things that Tammy often does, she'll take bonuses and things and take her kids on vacations. Do you love that? So she'll work for a bonus, get the bonus, take them, pay for their expenses, pay for everything, because family is of value to her. And so you're such a shining example that you can run this business with high success, keep your family as a priority, and have so much fun doing it. I know you love to travel and you love the fun, and you have the best heart ever. I love you, sweet friend. So we're going to turn over to you, and I'm going to spotlight you and turn over.
Okay, thanks, Tammy. Well, Tammy Nixon, it is an honor, honestly, to just have the opportunity to pour into your women, because I know it's a big deal to ask people to share with your unit. And Tammy Nixon, I love you because you and Brian are both just like impeccably kind and nice to everybody. I mean, I think that's why TJ and I fell in love with you guys, because you're so authentic and yet so easy to get to know. And Tammy, you have such a servant heart. Every time we go to Oklahoma City for the Director's Day, Tammy and Brian are always the ones that have all of the folding chairs in Stacy's house, and she just gives things away. She's so generous, so humble, and I am just honored, seriously, to be your friend, Tammy. So thank you for imparting your women to me today. This is weird. I like to see you guys and not me. But what I want to just really share with you guys, when I think back to when I had been in the business, about the amount of time that you guys are, I think it's always interesting that you can pick up little tidbits or little nuggets of things that maybe you might want to change and stuff too. So I think I want to just really start, because the biggest thing that I have found with my own consultants that can sometimes be a challenge, if you want to put it that way, is always the lead generation. And when you can master 3 to 5 ways to generate leads, you have got a great start. So I apologize, my cleaning lady's here and I can hear the vacuum and I forgot to tell her. But anyhow, so I hope that doesn't interrupt anything. But really, I really have two ways that I have learned to master. My favorite way is getting referrals. And I'm going to tell you how I do get referrals, because it's very likely that I will get 20 referrals from each person that I do facial. And I'm just going to go into that first of all. I have used the charcoal mask treatment as a great generator of getting 20 leads from people. And here's what I do. So when I'm at the class and I'm doing the charcoal mask on them, once they have it on, I get to find out a little bit about them. I have them check out the mask. But what I say to them as they're putting on the charcoal mask, I hold it up like this and I say, you guys, I'm going to help you all get a free charcoal mask. You're going to love it. We'll see what you think of it. If you like it, I'm going to help you get a free one, because everybody gets a free mask. I just proclaim that. And so then I find out, I share a little bit about myself and a little bit about Mary Kay. They check out the mask again. By this time, they see all the dots and see it working, and they're so excited about getting a free charcoal mask. So I just say, do you guys want to know how you get a free charcoal mask? And they're like, of course, yes. So I just say, what we're going to do is we're going to start with 5 people. Write down any 5 women that you know would love to try this charcoal mask treatment. All I need is a first name and their cell number. Now, they don't have to live local. They can live anywhere in the US. So I have them write 5. We start with 5. And why I start with 5 and not throwing 20 out there is because if you say, when you write down 20 names, people might think, I don't know, 20 people not even try. But when they write down 5, think about if you even had 5 women at a class. And if each of them only gave you 5 leads, that's 25 new leads right there. But once you get to 5, then I say, okay, so everybody got to 5. And I'll make it a fun game too, where I just say to them, the first person that gets 5, or everybody that gets 5 leads in, I'm going to put your name into a drawing for a gift certificate. It could be $5, whatever. You can do whatever you want to. But then once I get to 5, then I say, when you add another 5, that will be a total of 10. I will gift you the charcoal mask for half price. But when you get a total of 20, it's going to be yours free. It's a $25 value. I pay shipping, sales tax, the whole bit. So keep writing it as you go. And sometimes I'll give them a couple more minutes to write to get to 10 or as many more as they can. I did a facial last night with 4 ladies on. 2 of them gave me 20 referrals. Another one gave me 10. So right there, that was 50 leads from 3 people. So I always give them ideas too of who you're looking for. Like, who do you know that is the hardest working person, that has a great work ethic, that loves to pamper themselves, do self-care? You'd be amazed at the number of people that you will get for that. So I also have learned to tell them who I'm looking for, so that they're not just writing down, like kind of people. Sometimes I ask them, who's the sharpest person you know that gets dressed up or takes care of themselves or knows how to put on makeup well? The other way that I have learned how to do, it's not my favorite way, but I've become a master at it, is by warm chatting. And this just kind of evolved in the last maybe 9 months, how I get the names, or the numbers. I think that was always my biggest challenge, to not have me feel uncomfortable asking for their phone number. So this works like a charm. 100% of the time, I should say 99.9% of the time, I maybe once or twice had somebody hesitant to give me their number. But obviously when I'm just doing life and I meet somebody nice and I strike up a conversation, and I'll just say to them, I love nice women like you. I hope you would take this as the greatest compliment. I'm an executive trainer with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I would love to gift you a $10 gift card just to try our charcoal mask treatment with cleansers. Would you enjoy that? Almost everybody says, of course I would. So what I do is I just say, you know what, I don't even have anything with me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to text you my information. So I go onto my messages where I would put in somebody's phone number, and right there, I just say, so what's the best number to text you my information to? They give you their number right away, you guys. They don't think twice about it. And then in the message part is where I'll just say, and your first name is perfect, Sarah. So I type in Sarah, and then I send her a text, and I just say to her, I just sent you a text, Sarah. My name is Tammy, but I'll call you when I get home. I do it all the time. I came home 2 days ago with 10 names and numbers, and then I do call them when I get home, and you'd be amazed at how many people will schedule right away that day with you. But I want to just read these numbers to you, because I think it's really, really important, because I know that sometimes we all, I promise you, have said this at some point in our career, like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to, come across as pushy. Here's what I want you to think about these numbers. 48% never follow up. That's almost half, you guys. 25% make a second contact and then stop. 12% make 3 contacts and stop. 10% make more than 3 contacts. But get this, 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% are made on the second contact, 5% are made on the third contact, and 10% are made on the fourth contact. 80% of sales, you guys, are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. And here's why I don't ever feel guilty about calling them back, because every time, even from the very beginning, I always call first. I get lots better results because then they hear my voice and they hear that I'm genuine and sincere. And the call would go something like this. Hi, Susie, this is Tammy Niehaus. I know you don't know me, but I wanted to respectfully call you because Becky Beaumont had given me your name as a referral. I want you to thank her. She just told me you are so nice, that you're very dependable, that you show up when you say you're going to, and that you would give me honest feedback. And I told her I love women like that. So thank her when you talk to her. But because of her, I am gifting you a $10 gift card. There is no obligation. I would just mail you the samples of our charcoal mask treatment with cleansers. We could try them virtually, get your opinions, and I'll gift you with a $10 gift card. If it works for you, please text me back and I'll mail them out to you today. But if you're not interested, if you would do me an even bigger favor, just text me back that you're not, please. That way I won't reach out to you down the road, because I want to be respectful to you and your time as well. So thanks, and I'll send you a quick text. So I hang up and I send them a text right away. And throughout that conversation, I said some very key words that I say all the time. Number one, I thank them for being nice and being dependable, because that's how I want them to be. Second of all, I use the word respectful all the time. At the beginning of it, I said I wanted to respectfully call you and let you know. And at the end, I said I want to be respectful of your time. People don't get mad when you're respectful, you guys. In fact, they respect that you are respectful. So I just have learned to say those words because they become that way. But we know that seriously, so here's what I want to share with you. When they text me back and say, yes, I would love the samples. I've learned not to throw up Mary Kay all over, but what I say is I take little chunks. So they say they want to, I'm like, perfect. If you can just text me your full name and address, I'll mail the samples out to you today. So they send it right back. And then the next text back to them, I say my assistant, which is me, but I just say my assistant has the samples ready to mail once I have you scheduled to go through them virtually to get your opinions for the $10 gift card. And then I give them 2 choices. I give it a week to get there, but I give them 2 choices of when I'm available. And then I book them in. If they don't set up a time, I don't mail the samples, because I'm not just sending out samples for people to try on their own. And then I get them scheduled, and then I send them, a picture of the charcoal mask and confirm their time and all of that. But to remember always, you guys, I've always learned that starting your month, having 10 new bookings on your books, having that done by the 5th of the month to be held in the first 2 weeks is critical. It's a great way, the only way to start your month off, you guys. If you're not doing that, sometimes we do it, sometimes we hear about it and then we forget about it and then we don't do it. But that's critical, you guys. So today is the 5th. So getting 10 appointments, that new appointments on your books is critical. I have started doing this too, just in the last month. And what it is, it's doing 5 things in a day. Here's the 5 things that count. Number 1 would be a new booking. Number 2 would be 5 referrals. Number 3 would be getting a new sharing call. So for every sharing call I get booked that day, that counts for 1. Every new booking I get that day counts for 1. 5 referrals counts for 1. I don't count each referral. But if I do 5 of those in one day, I've got things moving, and that's what I want to do. I want to give you guys hope too, because I remember being in the business. I was blessed to be adopted into Stacey James's area, and I would go every single week, and I would take guests every single week, like for 14 months. I did not get any recruits at all. I mean, I could have very easily thought, there's no way I can do this. I don't think this is for me, but I never quit. And then in 1 week, I became a red jacket. So what I want you to know is this: everybody has a specific journey that God has planned for you. So don't ever compare your journey to other people's journeys, because everybody's plan is differently. Here's what I want. Oh my gosh, when you can learn. So when you learn the master of booking, we know that that is a big tool, but working full circle, you guys, is key. And I used to be really good. Like I'd do a bunch of sales and then I'd go back and do a bunch of marketing plans or sharing calls. But the truth of it is they are going to recruit closest to the product. So working full circle, here's what I do all in the first appointment. Number one, I show the product. Number two, I get referrals. Number three, I get a second booking where they're booking their own appointment where they can share it with friends to get a free, to get free product. And then the last thing, I am setting up their sharing call. I'm either talking to them that night because they're hot and excited about it, or it's the next day. From one of my guests last night on the meeting night, I just interviewed her today and signed her up. So she's my first one for this month. But the other thing that I wanted to share with you too is that as far as working full circle for the second appointment, it's so critical that we remember to coach them how to invite their guest. So just saying to them that when you invite your friends, let them know there's no obligation, but you get credit just for them showing up. And I love this hostess thing. You can do whatever works for you, what you're excited about. But I let them know that for every person they have there, I will give them a $10 gift certificate. So if they have two, it's $20. 4, it's $40. But when they hit 5, I will give them $100 of free product, because to me, it's worth it for them to do the work. And I tell them to invite 8 to 10 to have 5 there, but it's worth it to me to give away $100 to have 5 new women in front of me that they've set up. Okay. The other thing too, I've learned to say this at the beginning of my skincare classes. I love the product and I'm excited that you guys get to try this, but I love the company. And let me tell you a couple nuggets why, and then you can share a couple of the nuggets why. But I think when you just talk about the product, but not the opportunity and why you love the company, we're selling the product more than we are going in to have new team members. And we know that as leaders, that's what we want. We want to go in to have new team members for sure. I let them know that I am looking for customers, women that love our product. I'm looking for women who want to invite their friends to share the fun and the product. And I'm looking for women who want to do what I do. So I find it's very critical. I love to have them watch the video if possible when I do their first facial with them, just so they know a little bit about me. But if not, when I set up that sharing call, it is critical that they watch my own marketing video. And the reason for that, I have a lot better success rate of recruiting people because it's a layering effect. And then they know all the information, and I can tell whether they've listened to it or not, just by asking them a couple questions that I shared, like, what percentage we make, what does it cost to get started? But that is critical. So what I just shared to them, if they haven't watched the video, because, we don't want to come across bossy or pushy, whatever. I just let them know that I want to be very respectful of them and their time. And that if they can watch the video before our call, it will definitely save us time. And like I said, I want to be respectful to them to take as least amount of time with them as possible. Follow up, it's the key, you guys. When they might say, no, not now, I always ask for permission. Would it be okay with you if I check back with you? And they'll say, sure. And I always ask them, when would you rather have me check back with you? Sometimes they say 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I was thinking a few months or whatever. But I always ask for permission if it's okay if I follow up with them. The other thing, I don't know if you guys are doing a lot of your own sharing appointments or marketing call things, but I want to just share this with you because I counted in 1 month, I had done 30 sharing calls and I had 28 referrals from doing those calls. And I want to share with you what I say and what I do for that. When I'm done, before I ask them if they're even interested, I love this line too that I share as well too. It says, if I could show you how to keep what you value and get what you want, would you be willing to learn or willing to try? And before I even ask that question, the first thing I ask them is, do you have any other questions? No, they don't. So I just say, who do you know that you think would be great to, that would be willing to do a training call for me? Or maybe could even use something like this in their life. And it could be anybody from anywhere as long as they're in the US. So I just did one today. Actually, it's the gal I recruited, and she gave me her aunt, Jennifer. That's all I asked for. I'm like, perfect. Why did you pick her? She tells me, I'm like, awesome. Who else do you know? She gave me another gal named Madison. She told me why she thought she would be great. I'm like, awesome. You're so good at this. This is exactly who I want to share it with. Who else do you know? She gave me a third one. And then I said, who else do you know? She's like, I think that's it. And then I go back and ask for the phone numbers, because what I have found is that if I ask them for the phone number right off the bat, they shut down. but sometimes I'll get 5 or more referrals of people that they referred to me. I don't even ask them if they're interested. So it's always fun when I ask them who they know that might be willing to listen. And they're like, well, I think I would. And I'm like, perfect. I'm glad we'll get back to you. But who else do you know? Because even if they don't do something or they might start and not do something, I still have leads of who they would have talked to anyhow. Because we know, you guys, the very best thing that we can ever do for each of our new consultants is to get them a new team member in their first 24, 48 hours. Here's what I know for a fact. When you get them a new team member, they have a 90% chance of sticking with the company because they are invested. So that is really, really important to do. All right. So the best way, I always love when I get the question, how do you work with your team? Like, what do you do to get your team going? Remember this, you guys. Mary Kay taught us to always lead by example, lead by example, lead by example. Take your people with you. Let them learn while you earn. You could do their first party for them, but after that, they come with you all the time. You've got to learn to work smart and not hard, so you're not running around doing all of their work. Your personal work, you guys, is the most important because you are the best recruiter on your team. And it's important that you don't take yourself out of the game as well, too. So I love this, that Stacey James is so brilliant, man. We're so blessed to have her. But how we treat our director is how our team will treat us. And I also love that when we show up on camera and we're spectacular, we look great, we've got our makeup on, that sets an example for those on your team. They're going to follow suit. If they don't really know if you're going to be on your success night, meeting night, they may not be on either. So they're watching you guys. So it's really important. You're like their mom. It's really important that you set good examples for them as well, too. New is key. So always the new is what makes it exciting. Like I was so excited today that I have a new team member that I'm excited about getting to work with as well. But remind yourself, you guys, to keep your eyes on the windshield and not the rear view mirror. It doesn't matter what you haven't done up to this point, but look forward and always keep your dreams bigger than your memories, and always what's next. Looking forward for that as well, too. This is a fun saying. I love this. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. It's because of the water that gets in them. We can't let all of that stuff on the outside world get in us. So before I go into a few other things, I want to just kind of circle back to closing. And I'm going to this might seem really remedial or like, I know this, Tammy, that's kind of how I feel like, why would I teach these guys this? Because I'm sure they do this all the time. But I'm going to just share with you what I do when I close. Closing the sets, closing the class, and doing the individual close. So what I do is when I'm setting up, getting ready to close the sets, I ask them at the very end if there's anything they have questions on. And then most of the time there's not. But then I say, just for your information, there's 2 questions everybody asks. Number 1, if I want product, how long do I have to wait? And you can say you don't have to wait. You'll be excited about that. You can take it home with you today, or I'll ship it out today. Second question is cost. What is the cost if I'm interested in the product? So I let them know that I'm going to go through 3 of our most popular collections. We take Visa, MasterCard, Discover. I always say I'm excited to tell you we still take checks and cash because I still write checks. We do Venmo and Zelle. So I go through that. Payment plans, we do payment plans too. So once I've gone through this 3 sets, then what I say to them on the back of their profile to number 1, 2, and 3, because I'm going to ask my own questions. I just have them write it in the little pink square down there. Question number 1, out of all those collections that I just went through today, which one do you like the most? They write it down. Question number 2, when you go to do your next spa experience, what would you be most excited about trying? Would it be the facial peel, microdermabrasion on your face, or would it be a color look? And the last question, I am in training, or your consultant is in training. And as part of her training, we get credit. We get credit just to gain confidence, to know the most commonly asked questions that women ask about Mary Kay. So if you would be willing to do a training call with her or with myself, your name goes into a drawing for $100 of Mary Kay product, and it will help me with my confidence. So if you would be willing, just write down yes or no. So number 3 is, if you'd be willing to help me with a training call for me to gain confidence, write down yes or no. So then when what I have them do, if I'm on virtual, I have them take a screenshot of the back of their paper and text it to me. If I'm in person, you know that we always go to a separate area. I sit down with them and I ask them if they have any questions. So this is individual time, one-on-one. Do you have any questions? Did you have fun? What did you like? What could I do better? And then I just ask them, can I borrow your profile card? Or I see what they texted to me. And the first question is what set they like the most. So let's say they wrote down the Ultimate Miracle set. I just say to them, tell me why you picked the Ultimate Miracle set. They tell me they're selling themselves on it, not me. So after they've told me why they want that set, then I just say, is that the set you'd like to take home with you today? And if they're like, well, money on my car, I just had a flat tire, and I'm like, you know what, that's totally okay. I don't even know if this makes a difference for you, but if we did MasterCard, Visa, or a payment plan, would that help? And they're like, well, how's the payment plan work? So I tell them, and I sell quite a few things on payment plan, but they're on everything, you guys, and it's so worth it. So then I either write up their order if they're okay with that, or if they're not, I just say, is there anything that you would like to take home with you today? I take their order. If nothing, that's okay. I just say, let's set up a time to do your next spa experience, because I see that you wrote down you'd like to do the microdermabrasion on your second spa. So I set it up, and then I let her know that here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gift you with a $10 gift certificate for each person that you have there with you. And I give her, 3, it's 30, but 5, it's 100. So I set that up, and then I coach her what to say again. I already went through that. And then I set up a time to do the training call, even if they write down no, you guys. I find most of the time they write down no to doing the training call because they really don't know what I asked, what that meant. So I still ask them anyhow. Like I didn't see that they wrote down a no. I just say, so would you be willing to help me with a training call? It just helps me to gain confidence. And I honestly love getting to know you better. And then I book it for the next day. Okay, so that is going through the closing. Hopefully maybe you might have picked up 1 or 2 things from that. The next thing I'm going to just share with you is to not have a plan B, but be a finisher, you guys. Throw your heart and your guts over the line. If you want to have the best year yet, you guys, we have about 85 days left of the seminar year. You can do a lot in 85 days, but if you want to have the best year, then it's important to know that you need to have the best month, which is this month. And to have the best month, we know you need to have the best week. And to have the best week, you need to have the best day. So being a finisher every day, you guys, it's, how easy it is, because it's fun that we get to set our own schedule. We're our own bosses, but it's also easy to let ourselves off the hook, you guys. Do not let a day go by without getting accomplished what your income producing activities are. For me, it's my 5 activities a day that count that are income producing. But it's so important that you hold yourself accountable, because nobody else will. You're the only one. You're the one that is getting the promotion or earning the car or making the money. And this is so important to remember to you guys. If you're not 100% committed, like if you say, well, I'll try. In fact, I tell my consultants this. When they say, I'll try, I laugh and I say, well, we know that means you're not going to do it. You can't try to do something. You're either going to do it or you're not, right? But when you're 100% committed, but if you have doubt or 99% commitment, you're 100% out, you guys, 100% out. So here's what I want you to know. I'm going to just share that my at the end of last year, where we earned our trip to Spain, and we needed to do 50,000 that month. And I'll tell you what, you guys, that was scary to me, because I'd never done anything. We'd done 30 something, maybe 33, 34, something like that. But there was something in me. I knew for a fact that I wasn't in charge, but I knew God was. And I know that God loves to work through people that are willing. And so my husband and I made a deal that when I earned the trip, he was going to go to seminar with me. Well, he was back in Nebraska at the time that seminar was. And so there was that 99% that I was committed, but the 100% was not, because TJ didn't have a ticket booked to go to seminar. But when I made the decision to book him a ticket that he was going to be at seminar with me, I was 100% in. But had I not done that, that was that 1% that held me back from not being 100% committed. So it's really important, you guys, that you get through those doubts, You don't have to know how. You're not going to know how it's going to happen. That's called being willing and open for God to work through you. But it is amazing. Those last 2 weeks of our seminar year, I prayed every day for 15 minutes, just prayed in the spirit, just listened to him. And I would type in my phone the things he told me to do. And I was obedient. And it was amazing how it happened. So always remembering, you guys, that those that show up, go up. You know, for your weekly success meetings, for career conference, for seminar, never miss it, you guys, because it's the times that you don't want to. And I'll be honest with you, we all have times where we don't want to show up, right? Those are the times that you need to be there, because that you're going to hear something that's going to make an impact, because we know that events change people and it changes lives. So if you ever feel stuck, I know we've all felt that before, like, what do I do? You know, keep it simple, you guys. It's one face. Just book one face. From that one face, you could get 20 leads, a party, a new recruit. It's just doing the next step. And remembering that our team, you guys, women need to be loved, not fixed. Thank goodness Stacy doesn't try to fix us. And as a leader, man, I was a terrible leader when I started. I've learned so much. I continue to learn so much, but I've learned not to tell them what to do or answer the questions for them, but instead ask them what they feel the solution is or what they feel like would be the best way. And then asking yourself, even, you guys, what's the next best step that I can take? Because we know that 10% of life is what happens to us, but 90% is how we choose to deal with it. And the hardest thing any of us will ever work on, it's ourselves. But everybody is a leader, you guys. We're all leaders. And I loved that one of the nationals, Jamie Taylor, she's my favorite. I love her. She is just so authentic. But I love when she posted on Instagram that she's an influencer and she's got 2 followers. And she listed her 2 kids as a follower. And you know, you think about it, you guys, whether you have kids or not, maybe you have grandkids, you still have friends, you've got maybe a spouse or siblings. You are a leader and they are watching you. And so we have to lead ourselves well before we can lead others well. So how are we showing up for ourselves? Are we giving the best that we have of ourselves? Ask yourself this in any situation. Is this something that I can take control of? If you can't, give it over to God. Like, I used to be the biggest worrier of everything. And you know what, you guys, I have nothing to worry about anymore because I know that I'm not in control of a lot of things. I can control my actions and my thoughts. The rest is probably going to be up to God. But when you can release that and not try to be in control, it's freeing. So your reality, it's not God's reality. Remember that. We can't ever think big enough. So use your imagination where you can be and seek that in your mind. See it and feel it, and you will see it, because we know that when you continue to do that over and over and over on a daily basis, you will see what you believe, because Stacy always says you don't always get what you want, but you always get what you expect. So enjoy the journey and the process. Change what you're thinking and what you're telling yourself, and work very, very intentional. All right. So as I wrap up, remember that we're always looking for women that Mary Kay needs, not that needs Mary Kay, because those are the sharp women. So know the characteristics you're looking for and thank God for those every day, and you will attract those people to you. And be a cross the line mentality, be a finisher by saying, what can I do today? What you do every day, you guys, makes a difference. This was really interesting. I think we take this for granted, like it's not important, but these are so important in the success of your business, you guys. There's really 6 things that are really important. Number 1 is your 6 most important list. Number 2 is your weekly plan sheet. Number 3 is the bubble sheet. Number 4 is the weekly summary sheet. Number 5 is, I'm trying to think here, the last 2 here. I had a brain lapse here. I will come back to it here, of the 6 things, but it's, yeah, your 6 most important list, your weekly plan, your weekly summary sheet, income producing activity. You want to know what those income producing activity sheets are as well too, along with your bubble sheet. Okay, so create habits, you guys, that are consistent. Consistency is the key. Holding yourself accountable that you're doing your weekly goals. Don't take a break after the end of the month. You know, sometimes we do when we work really hard at the end of the month. If we start out at the beginning of the month working, it's so much easier because we know that numbers never lie, you guys. So figure out how many faces you want to have done by the end of the first week and hold yourself accountable to that, because there's nothing worse than when you fall behind the 8 ball and then you feel like you're always playing catch up. But the pain of regret is always greater than the pain of discipline. So what we do is not hard, you guys, but that internal integrity, no one can do that for you. So you have to learn to always ignite and reignite yourself. Know that success isn't always convenient, but make decisions not to protect your feelings, but make decisions to protect your future. Work to win and not to lose, and never give up. So thank you guys. I have about 5 minutes I left.